Hello.
This is episode 1 of The Cousins, and we're going to be talking about the Cousins Beach.
Yes!
This is going to...
Flawless intro.
Flawless. Like, 10 out of 10 intro. Took us a minute to get there, but, like, a really good intro. Okay, so this is going to be all talking about The Summer I Turned Pretty, since season 2 is coming out July 14th.
And this is actually such a good first episode because I haven't watched the show.
Or read the book.
I read part of the book. That's not true. I read, like, most of the first
But
one.
she understands the plot, and I've told her a lot about it.
I've heard some wild
things?
Yeah, wild things.
Yeah.
I can't talk. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, I'm going to get into my thoughts I was thinking about at 3 in the morning last night.
Okay, tell me.
So, basically, at 3 in the morning, I was like, you know, most of the time, I do not like character assassination, which is basically just the character completely changes in the third book.
Jeremiah.
This is spoilers, by the way, if you have not watched the show. Spoiler warning now. I will give you a moment to dip.
Moment is gone.
Okay, so the reason why I don't think I hated Jeremiah's character assassination as much as I usually would with any other book is because Jeremiah was mid in the first place, and because I just liked the other brother better. I liked Conrad better.
But, like, okay.
And book 2 changed that for me, because I was a Conrad hater for like a whole year. I was a Conrad hater. I did not like him. I did not defend him. And now I love him.
But, like, the thing is with Jeremiah's character assassination, I have heard what he does in the third book.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels weird because before he went from average teenage boy, which is already bad enough, to, like, literally awful, horrible to Belly, like, horrendous behavior. Yeah. And I'm like, how did we get here? Okay, first of all, I know the differences between the show and the book because I did recently read the 3 books, which the books are not that good they're not that good, but the show definitely improves on that fact because the books, at least the first one, is very scary. But one thing that I was a little disappointed with the show is because I did read the books first before I watched the show. Yes, of course.
At least the first book is that there was less flashbacks as there was in the TV show. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they added the debutante ball in the first place, because
there'd be plot.
Yeah, because in the first book, it's a lot of flashbacks and small moments in present time. So, like, it kind of made me upset because we didn't get, I will explain it to you, we didn't get the flashback to Junior Mint, the iconic bear that, like, wins you over with Conrad. Which,
I've heard about that.
Yeah. Which is basically, Conrad invites Belly on this, like, date he's going to. Belly didn't know it was a date, and a girl just showed up while they were there. And then, the entire time, Conrad is, like, talking to this girl, and then...
I read this part, yeah.
Yeah, he's at the carnival, and he is, like, at this one thing. He wins this bear, and instead of giving it to his date that he's with, he gives it to Belly. And I feel like it's a really important, integral moment for Conrad that just doesn't happen. But I have heard, there's been photos and videos of people seeing them record that scene.
Interesting.
For season 2.
Okay. Real quick, since you read the third book, I, like, vaguely remember what Jeremiah does to Belly, but let's, like, go over that.
Let's get into it.
So I can, like, properly discuss this.
Yeah. So the third book it's a flash forward, which can be done very good or very badly. And it's a flash forward for when Belly is in college. So it's about a year and a half flash forward from book 2, I think. Because in the first book, she's a sophomore, and then obviously in the second book, she's a junior. But I don't know how the show might do it differently. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But by the third book, she is a freshman in college, and Jeremiah is a sophomore in college. So, basically, they're in college, they're living their best life, all cute and coupley. It starts that way, and then Which, this is bad writing on Jenny Han's part. Love you, Jenny Han. You create great stuff. But, like, girl, 5 chapters in, you find out that while Belly and Jeremiah were on a break for one small moment, and this dude, Jeremiah, went to a, like, vacation, he cheated on Belly.
This is Friends all over again.
Yeah.
We were on a break.
And literally, Belly does not tell anybody. She only tells Taylor. She does not tell her any of her family because she knows that they would never forgive him, and her behavior is actually wild after this happens. She finds out. They get in this huge fight. Jeremiah apologizes and then asks him to marry him.
Okay. This choice...
And she says yes!
Let me just say, the choice to bring marriage into this particular series always felt really weird to me. Because, like, the whole premise of The Summer I Turned Pretty is it is a summer high school romance type thing.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with them flashing forward to college. Like, I'm fine with that. But bringing marriage into it just felt like a weird choice.
It was, because the first, here's what I said, I forgot to who, but I said it to someone where I was like, the second and third book should have been kind of mashed together. Mm-hmm. Because the second book is, for the most part, slow, and there isn't much to it besides tension between the three of them, and there's, like, just the Conrad and Belly broke up, and Jeremiah's there trying to get Conrad to go back to college, and it's a thing. And then it's slow because it's into 300 pages of that. And then the third book, there's just so much going on, and you have to acknowledge all of it in a short span of time. Mm-hmm. It's just...
So after... So Belly says yes to
Belly
Jeremiah,
says yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know he does something else after that. I know it gets worse, right?
No, not really. So it gets worse for them together. He doesn't do anything else to be just worse.
Get worse as a couple.
Yeah, because they just, like, neither of them refused to talk about it. Belly never dealt with it because she got right back with him. She never told anyone besides Taylor, which Taylor in the books is an absolute horrible friend. Horrible friend.
I love her in the show from what I've seen.
She's just less Taylor in the show. She still has her, like, bro, what are you talking about moments, but she's just less cray-cray as she is in the books.
Yeah.
But after Belly says yes to Jeremiah, she goes to her family and she's like, hey guys, I'm engaged to Jeremiah. And they're all like, Belly, you are like 20. What are you doing? This is insane.
If we had to bring, like, marriage into the series, Jeremiah seems a little impulsive, so I could see him being like, oh, marry me? But Belly, where is that coming from?
I don't know. It came out of nowhere. And then the rest of the time, because by the time, I don't remember if this started in the second or third book, but it becomes dual point of view.
Yeah.
And you get Belly's, which is like, her thoughts are, she's insane. Belly's, I don't know what's going on with her in the third book. And then Conrad is basically just like, he's stealing my girl, why did I break up with her?
Not my girl.
Okay, and then Susanna's dead. Like, my defense that I will always say for Conrad, especially in the first season, and then, like, going into the second one, his actions, it's gonna be difficult, because some people I know are big haters for Conrad.
It's gonna be difficult.
It's gonna be difficult.
A Conrad defender.
Yeah, because...
How do you feel?
It's a struggle. Season 2 is gonna struggle for every Conrad defender. But what I said that I feel, in truth, is, like, a very true thing, besides the mom dying part of Conrad's character, he's a very relatable, like, depiction of what teenage/college guys are going into college. Mm-hmm. He's very accurate on how they act, how they're, like, selfish, but they do have a good thing in their head. Like, they're trying to be a good person.
You know when you know a guy who's, like, a total dick, and then the moment you're alone, suddenly he's tolerable?
Yeah.
And he's, like, so mean around his friends?
Yeah.
That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah, I feel like Conrad is a very much, if he tried hard enough, he could get there person. Mm-hmm. Because after Susanna dies, first of all, that entire first season, he has to hold on to the fact that Susanna is dying and he can't do anything about it and he can't tell anyone, which is, I get that, it is a little selfish for him to hold it to himself, but he just wanted his brother and Belly and everyone to have a good summer.
Tell him not to tell them? Or did I
no,
make
that up? She didn't want to believe that Conrad knew.
Okay.
But, like, Conrad knew because he's older brother. That's, like, a kind of older brother intuition type thing where he, like, you know everything, but you want to keep everything to yourself and to a secret.
Being like, hey, oh, mom, and, like, basically Belly's aunt is gonna, like, be dead soon. That's a really difficult conversation.
It's like, you don't want to have that conversation.
I'm not gonna lie, if I was in Conrad's shoes, even if I wanted to tell them, I don't know, like, when I could, how I could, especially with all the drama.
Yeah, there's just so much going on.
Like, imagine trying to interrupt all that dumb love triangle stuff to be like, hey, our mom is gonna die.
Yeah. And one thing I loved that the show did, is they didn't just show Belly, because that's the kind of thing with Belly, is that she's low-key an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
And one thing that changed is that like, kind of made me upset, because it just made everything get glossed over, was that in the books, Taylor still hooked up with somebody, but it wasn't Belly's brother. It was Jeremiah when they were, like, 14 years old.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then they had years to, like, kind of get over it when we're in the present. But instead, it gets turned into this, she hooks up with Steven, and then they just get over it after, like, 10 hours.
I didn't really like Steven in the book.
Steven in the book, first book, he was not it, but third book, bro is my like, he is a great brother. He's a good person. I love Steven. And
I didn't hate him in the first book. I was just like, meh.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm most likely will like what they're gonna do with Taylor and Steven. Mm-hmm. I was not expecting it. I will miss my girl Shayla. She was not in the books also, but Shayla was a good addition to the books.
Yeah.
To the movies or TV shows. Apologies.
One thing I will say is, looking at the books of Somewhere I Turned Pretty, is, to me, it always feels like she had this idea of summer romance, two brothers, and then there was a very loose plot constructed around it, but, like, it feels like there's not really a plot, so stuff just kind of happens, and that's, like, kind of what the proposal feels like to me. So I'm glad in the show they added the debutante ball, because I'm like, that gives you more of, like, a plot structure to work your story points around, instead of just being like, hey, it's the summer and stuff is happening.
I think her goal was to make it more realistic and less, like, bookish.
Yeah, I get that, but it just, when you're reading it,
when you're reading it,
I was reading
it, like, kind of works, but it wouldn't work well in a TV show.
It wouldn't work well in a TV show, for one. And for me, when I was reading it, it just kind of came across as very, I don't know, like, I didn't finish the first book, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But to me, it kind of felt a little, I don't know, random, you know, because that's how life is.
Yeah.
So to me, it kind of just felt like stuff was happening. I think the main reason that I couldn't really get that into the book is, even if they didn't actually think that, the brothers kept saying, oh, we see her as, like, a little sister. That trope is my least favorite trope. I don't think they actually did, but it's just the fact that they kept saying it for me.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. So, Jeremiah, he's a good person until the third book, which is total character assassination for him. And I would change the third book a million every time. I would change the third book and how it goes down. Because if you think about it, by the end of the third book, the only people that know that Jeremiah cheated are Taylor and then Conrad. Mm-hmm. She doesn't tell her mom. She doesn't tell her brother.
Their relationship just fell apart.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a thing that goes in for plot twist and then it just goes away completely.
You know, at first I kind of see why Bella would get Belly. Sorry, Isabella. Belly would get married to Jeremiah. But now that I'm thinking about it, in the first book, she did compare herself to, like, Taylor a lot, and she seemed a little, like, desperate for, like, that kind of love. Yeah. Which, like, I get it. We all want validation like that. So I'm not, like, blaming her. Yeah. But she definitely seemed like she wanted, like, some type of validation like that in the show, too. Like, she has that, like, famous line where she's like, girls at school never look at... Not girls, boys at school never look at me. Taylor's the one they look at. So I could definitely see it. But at the same time, I'm like... I could see her doing it impulsively, but then, like, actually almost going through it when, like, all the planning and stuff is happening.
Dude, it's literally on their wedding day where I know. Everyone is there. They already bought dresses. Everything's already set up when they don't get married. It's insane. Because, okay, we find out that Jeremiah cheated, and then we get into the middle part of the book, which is just like them planning the wedding, everyone not approving, and them kind of approving because they know they're gonna go through with it anyway. Conrad being depressed,
and then they don't go through with
it. And then they're finally like, okay, you're gonna do it anyway. We might as well support you, dude. They cancel on the wedding day, which is so annoying for everyone else. Mm-hmm. And then the reason why she doesn't marry Jeremiah is because she gets this letter. First of all, it's so sad.
Letter, like, after style.
Stop.
Tessa.
She gets this letter from Susanna.
Oh, that's so much worse. Oops.
And basically, in the letter, Susanna implies that, yo, I think you're gonna marry Conrad, but if you're marrying my other boy, like, okay. Like, I would need to read it again to fully remember what it said, because I read the actual
basically
books
she's like
a year ago.
I want you, or I think you're gonna end up with Conrad, but if you're with Jeremiah, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I need to either look up the letter or, like, oh wait, was it Susanna a letter to Conrad? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I remembered that wrong. I think she had one for both Jeremiah and Conrad. Okay. So I think Susanna wrote a letter to either Jeremiah or Conrad. This is apparently very fishy in my mind. It's very mushed up. But Google says Jeremiah later says that one detail Susanna wrote in the letter to Conrad is how she only ever saw him genuinely love once with Belly. Which is, like, kind of depressing for Jeremiah.
Sorry, Jeremiah. Okay, so to me, at least, watching, like, clips of the first season and kind of reading the first book, Jeremiah and Belly always kind of felt like a fling to me. If that makes sense.
In the TV show, 1,000%.
Yeah, in the TV show, I'm like, this 1,000% feels like a, like, summer fling.
Dude. It's actually so insane how different it is from the book. I just remembered this. In the TV show, completely leads my boy Jeremiah on, like, full on gets in a whole ass relationship with him. And then in the books, Jeremiah confesses his feelings, and then Belly's like, no, I like your brother. She does not do anything with him. She doesn't do anything. But no, in the TV show, she makes out with him. Like, they have this, like, whole awkward conversation. They, like, kiss multiple times. But they literally, in the books, they have this conversation where Jeremiah's like, I like you more than a friend. And Belly's like, it's always been your brother. I'm sorry.
That sucks. Imagine being like, nah, I'm into your brother.
Yeah, that's what happened in the first book. I'm like, bro, I was so mad when the TV show changed that, because it just complicates things so much more.
I think they just wanted that extra bit of drama.
They wanted to put that music in.
So,
are we still friends? That will always be iconic, I will say.
So, if I'm remembering correctly, both of the Jeremiah and Conrad were kind of seen as the cousin beach, like, hotties, right? Basically. Weren't they both seen as... Yeah.
I mean, it's just, like...
Dateable. They were dateable, right?
Yeah, both of them, they were just, like, Conrad and Jeremiah. At least in the TV show, because the books, they don't talk about it, because it's in Belly's point of view, so she doesn't know. She doesn't know what their life is. That's, like, a whole thing. She doesn't know what their life is like outside of summer. So, yeah. But in the TV show, they are the, like, hot of cousins. Like, no, they are the it boys.
But it is said that Jeremiah does have, like, multiple love interests before, not love interests, but, like, you know, flings before Belly, right?
For sure, yeah.
Even with, like, her best friend in the books, anyway, not in the show.
No, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jeremiah.
Okay, I did not,
Apologies, anyway.
Because you were talking about Jeremiah, and then you started, it's okay.
So,
I got it.
Jeremiah, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm like, it feels like, I don't know how, like, deep his feelings were for her, Belly, I mean. Mm-hmm. So, I can't entirely say this, but while I initially heard about the Jeremiah cheating thing, and I was like, no, that's totally character assassination, now I'm like, if they were on a break, maybe he would just, like, revert back to that. But the thing is, even if, like, in real life something like that would happen, in the books, it was entirely written in there just to basically write out Jeremiah as, like, a love interest option.
Just to make Conrad more likable.
Yeah, just to make Conrad, like, the only one, basically.
Yeah.
So even if, like, you can, like, work around it and be like, no, it makes sense for his character, I'm like, that's not the issue here. The issue is, like, basically she was too lazy to just... Not too lazy, but...
Just didn't want to write a good way. But just a lot of writers revert to that character assassination. Because it's just easier and it takes less time. And it needs... to not do character assassination, it needs more planning beforehand.
Instead of making sure Conrad and Belly had, like, the deeper, more meaningful relationship, which she definitely did that partly, but... Mm-hmm. Or instead of just, you know, like, writing some scene or some part of the book where even though Jeremiah didn't do anything wrong, you know, you kind of have to come to terms with your feelings and be like, I like your brother more. Because some people don't necessarily have to do something wrong for you not to be interested in them. But instead of doing that, no, it has to be that he cheats on Belly, and that's what annoys me.
Yeah, because I think if I was, what I said earlier about, like, her trying to make it more realistic, if she stuck with that like she did in the first book of not making it so bookish, it would have been just a thing where Belly's like, shoot, I like Conrad more.
She's like, I still like you, but ultimately my feelings for him are stronger. Yeah. And I don't want to, like, lead you on or like continue a relationship with you when I know I'm into someone more than you. Like, that just feels dishonest. It's like emotional cheating.
Yeah. You want to know why everyone should be Team Conrad?
Why? Tell me.
Because Taylor Swift only plays when Conrad and Belly are on the screen.
Okay. You're actually making such a valid point right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, to go back to the topic earlier, I just don't like it when there are multiple love interests or, like, a love triangle, and the only way they can make sure that specific couple is, like, endgame or whatever is to
character assassination
and just completely ruin the other. Sometimes it just doesn't even make sense for their character.
Let's give some examples. First of all, we have my boys. We have Stefan Salvatore. We have Grayson Hawthorne from the Inheritance Games. We have, let's see, who else do we got?
Yeah, you can look around in my bookshelf.
We do.
Stefan Salvatore is a big one.
Yeah. Jacob Black, but I feel like he was kind of from Twilight. He was always a kind of mid, but like
he was mid. But in the second book, he like forcibly kisses her. He like yells at her. He's like, "You have to choose me. You
have to like me."
And in the first book / movie, he was so sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's dealing with a lot, but what, in the second book, he just becomes an assaulter randomly?
Okay, we're getting
like, what is that?
We're getting off topic.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But yes, we can talk about that another time.
They do that all the time.
Authors do that because it's a popular thing without people realizing it's a popular thing that people do.
It's just easier. It's easier than having to write, like, intelligent or, like, emotionally intelligent characters.
Yeah.
And having to, like, actually develop their relationships to just be like, oh, no, you can't root for this guy because he's horrible. Look at him. Look what he did to her.
Look at him. Okay,
he cheated on her. It can't be Jeremiah. You know what I mean?
And, okay, I need to complain more about that third book because, bro, it's insane. It's crazy how downhill that just the way the pacing went from book 1.
So, I'm curious what, like, happened exactly with Belly and Conrad to make her ultimately choose Conrad. Because if she was...
It's not even that she chooses him. Let me explain.
Okay.
The night before she gets married, her and Conrad, like, go out to the beach. Like, I don't know. I think he texted her or something.
It's at Cousins Beach still?
Yeah, they get married at Cousins, I think. Or just in the area. I don't remember. So, basically, Conrad, like, texts Belly and he's like, I love you.
This is kind of bad timing, dude.
And Belly's like, I'm marrying your brother. And she doesn't, and then she walks away because she doesn't know what to do with this information. Like Conrad's in love with her. Conrad's still in love with her. He always loved her. She doesn't know what to do. So then we get to her wedding day. She's just very off. She doesn't know what to do. She's just like, what just happened? And then, I don't remember exactly, but from what I can remember, basically, Jeremiah gets this Laurel give this letter to Jeremiah from Susanna. Mm-hmm. And it's basically Laurel was supposed to give it on his wedding day and Belly's wedding day, and from what I can remember, like, their letters are basically, Susanna's just like, and oh my god, I cannot think right now, but from what I remember, at least from Belly's letter, because I'm pretty sure Belly got a letter too, was that, like, it's basically saying that she thinks that she's marrying Conrad.
Oh, instead of, she's like, hi, you're probably getting married to Conrad by now.
Yeah, it's obviously voiced better and, like, in a heartbreaking way, and there's obviously, wording better, but from what I remember, that's basically what is said. And then it's just it turns into this big thing. Belly tells Jeremiah that, like, Conrad basically confessed his feelings for Belly again. Mm-hmm. Jeremiah goes he goes haywire. And he, like, leaves. He leaves for a while. Like, Belly is still like, I'm gonna marry Jeremiah. It's a great thing.
To be fair, I know that it was not fair of him to, like, lash out like that. But if your brother confesses his feelings to your fiance, like, the day before you guys get married, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah, he, like, disappears for most of the day.
But disappearing is, like, too much. Like, talk it out, bro. Yeah.
And then Conrad goes to find him because he's not, Belly, like, still wants her to be happy. That's, like, the whole point of Conrad's character after book 2. So he goes to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah punches him in the face. Because his letter to Susanna is basically saying, like, Belly and Conrad, or, like, if you're marrying Belly, cool, but, like, like, I don't know. It's obviously worded better. I don't know how to explain it besides that.
I know what you mean, yeah.
But Susanna is basically, like, Conrad and Belly.
They're, like, the ones.
Yeah.
Basically, she's like, Conrad and Belly are endgame. Oh, you're with Jeremiah. That's fine, I guess.
Yeah, she's just not a jelly shipper. Not at all.
Yeah, basically. What's the Conrad and Belly ship name? Belly.
I forgot. There's a valid one. I just don't know where.
Belrad?
Maybe. Anywho, and then, like, Conrad's like, get your life together, marry Belly. Like, this is...
Conrad
Come on.
says that?
Yes, because he's a bigger person. He wants the best for Belly.
I get that, but why would he confess the day before her wedding?
He's being a martyr.
Girl, if he was being a martyr, he would have figured out a better time to be like, I love you, than the day before her wedding.
I know. Okay, and then basically Jeremiah goes to Belly and he's like, what do you want to go through with this? And she does, like, no, he doesn't say, do you want to go through this? He's like, do you love Conrad? Are you in love with Conrad? And she doesn't not say no. So He's like, I can't do this. We need, like, shouldn't be getting married right now.
Yeah, fair enough, honestly. But, yeah.
Yeah. And then it technically ends there. Technically, I think there's a little bit time after that.
Yeah.
A little epilogue. And then it shows, oh my god. Basically, Belly went abroad, I think, or Conrad went abroad. I can't remember which one. And basically, it's just letters that Conrad wrote to Belly. And it, like, through that, it shows how Bonrad, that's what it is. That's their ship name. How Bonrad was Endgame through letters. That's how it ends.
I kind of like when people do, like, letter stuff, but not when you just had a plot like that. I think, okay, that book goes so off the rails. Like, book 1 was, oh, cute, summer romance. Oh my gosh, 2 brothers like me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My best friend. And then what? 3rd book, it's like, oh, he proposes to me. Oh, actually, I'm in love with your brother. Oh, actually, let's not get married. Like,
yeah.
If you were writing The Summer I Turned Pretty, yes, we're going down this route.
I've already talked about this. Okay, whatever. I've already talked about this before, but let's
not
do it
on
again.
This podcast.
That's true. I have not talked about it on the
Tell
podcast.
me how you would write The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Okay. First of all,
you've actually read all the books.
Yes. Book 1. It's good. Book 1 is solid. It's a good starter book. Maybe I'd write it a little bit differently, but it's a solid starter book.
I would definitely add some more solid.
Maybe add a plot.
Add some solid plot points in there, and I think I would, like, mess around with the characterization a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like,
for the most part, it's a good book.
The thing is, we're saying how I would write The Summer I Turned Pretty, so you can't change that much about it, like, fundamentally.
Yeah.
Fundamentally?
Yes.
So, let's just say the first book stays relatively the same.
Maybe a little, something's different. Okay. 2nd and 3rd book. The same plots could happen, just if it was done well and maybe not the cheating. So my thoughts are, we still have the Bonrad still break up after her prom, and Conrad still leaves college so that he can save the house.
Susanna dies. Is that why they break up?
He just gets before the prom, he just gets really weird and distant, and then Belly's like, what the freak is going on? And Conrad's like, I want to break up, but I didn't want to ruin your prom.
Great.
And there's, like, obviously, like, explanation or something towards that. He's probably like, I need to deal with my grief, not in a relationship. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
But I think it should have been better explained.
Yeah, so I think that is done well. And then 2nd, in, like, maybe the starting of book 3 combined.
Mm-hmm. So a duology.
No, just, like, it's still a 2nd book.
Okay.
It's just take some of the plot, all from the conjumbled plot of book 3, take some of it out and put it into book 2 so it's not so slow. Like, resolve the house problem, which the house problem is that their father wants to sell the house right away after Susanna dies. And Conrad basically, like, leaves college, leaves, like, all of his, like, finals tests or whatever to go save the house. Basically, still have that plot, still...
I think that's still a good plot to have.
Yeah.
1, because it could symbolically, like, help them through their grief.
Yeah.
2, it obviously means a lot to them. They have a lot of memories there. I like that plot.
Yeah. So keep that, and then take some aspects of book 3, so, like, starting Jeremiah and Belly still. I still like the idea of that happening. Because, you know, it's just a Summer I Turned Pretty. That's how these type of books go.
Like, in the first season, she makes out with, like, 3 different guys. So,
yeah.
You gotta have some options.
And then maybe this one is, like, you can, like, disagree. But maybe by the end of book 3, he proposes. But at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of the proposing thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm maybe thinking we still have Jeremiah and Belly get together. And then in the 3rd book, we do the flashback when we've already seen Belly and Jeremiah together, and they're, like, in a healthy relationship, going through college, And then Jeremiah proposes without the cheating, without that going on. And then she's like, she like thinks about it. And it's like, the third book is this turmoil of, should I say yes? This is like the rest of my life. Should I say yes, or do I still have to figure out my feelings for Conrad? I never got over them.
Quick point. If we're gonna add the wedding / marriage plotline, one, I like that she just doesn't immediately is like, yes, I'll marry you.
Yes, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, yes. I feel like an easy way to explain why Jeremiah is like, marry me without like having the weird cheating plotline is one, obviously Jeremiah knows that Belly liked Conrad more, liked him originally. Two, they were dating at some point. So I feel like it makes sense for Jeremiah to feel a little insecure in their relationship.
Yeah.
So if he sees that Conrad is like warming up to Belly more, you know, he's not feeling he's not feeling as like depressed or whatever, and he sees that they are becoming like closer in their relationship, is becoming more stable. He's like, Belly, marry me, because he's like, that's the only way to like secure a relationship.
You know what? That's a great plot.
I think that makes sense. I appreciate you.
That sounds like a great idea. Sense. Okay, so he is like, Belly, marry me.
And Belly's like, what? We're like 21.
Yeah, and then maybe still have my like thoughts, because it would make sense for Belly to be like,
I feel like she would be like, but if she sees Jeremiah, like, pulling away, like, she still wants that validation. She wants to be in a relationship with him.
Yeah.
So then, like, kind of like how Jeremiah originally proposed to her to, like, make sure their relationship is, like, stable, or they stay together. Yeah. She says yes, because
he's pulling away.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to ruin their relationship, both as, like, friends and, you know, like, dating. Yeah. So she's like, I'll marry you, I guess.
IG.
She just, like, texts him. She's like, yeah, I'll marry you, IG.
Okay. So, yeah. And then where does it go from there? What goes down?
Obviously, Conrad is like, what the freak, guys?
What the freak?
Oh, you guys are really about to get married right now.
And I also liked the thing where everyone was like, but what are you guys doing?
No, yeah, because I feel like it makes sense. Instead of just being like, oh, they're gonna get married. And instead everyone is like...
They were. That's what I'm saying. They were. And then I forgot if it's... I think Steven is like, I mean, you guys are gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Laurel pissed at Belly for a long time.
I would also be pissed.
But she just doesn't want to miss her wedding. That's why it takes a while for Belly to get married at all, because she didn't want Laurel to miss her wedding. So, you know, it's like a thing. So
Conrad, how would he act during this? Well, I feel like knowing his character, instead of, like, trying to get closer to Belly, he would, like, pull away from her even more. Because I feel like when something bad like this happens, he doesn't, like... approach the problem. He, like, sort of just ignores it. He's not confrontational.
He's not. Yeah, I feel like that's a good idea.
Yeah.
He just pulls away and he's like,
He's like, I'm not dealing with this right now.
Yeah. Okay. And then Belly's like, wait. Like, it just opens a whole another, like, wormhole.
Yeah.
And then... basic writing things out of the way, things happen.
We're not actually writing a book. We're not gonna go into all the details.
But basically, after a while of, like, Jeremiah and Belly planning the wedding, Belly's like,
let's not make it on the day of the wedding, because that's just...
No. I feel like
there would have to be
maybe Belly would go to Conrad and be like, why are you pushing away?
Mm-hmm.
And
he's like, I found this letter. No, I'm joking.
I still like the letter idea, but maybe later down the line. No, yeah. Like in an epilogue type thing.
That's why I did the dramatic voice.
Oh my god. Okay, so basically, Belly goes to Conrad and is like, yo, what's going on? And Conrad's like, I love you, but I want you to be happy. And then Belly's like, whoa!
She's like, you love me. And he's like, did you miss the part where you're getting married?
Yeah, and then she walks away still, and she thinks about it, and then she goes to Jeremiah and is like, I love you, I really do. I love our relationship, but I don't love you enough.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
But it is true.
Yeah. And then basically, like...
So I feel like she's just, like, as a 21-year-old with two guys who are like, oh, I love you.
Yeah.
Why would you want to, like, commit, especially at that point in her life? I feel like it kind of, like, wake her up and be like, I'm not ready to get married.
Yeah. And then after the whole Jeremiah things happen, we finish, we go to the epilogue. It's, like, 5 years later, and it's Belly reading that letter, Susanna Rowe, and it's Conrad and Belly's wedding.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good way to end the series.
Like, it's not different enough that it's like, oh, you just wrote an entirely different show / book series, but it's, like, different enough to the point, well, you took the original ideas and you just built upon them a little bit. Like, added some more character stuff. Because I wish, I don't know, the whole reason they got married... because Jeremiah cheated, and then he, like, freaks out, and he's like, marry me. I'm like, that feels very weird. But also a 21-year-old probably would do that.
Yeah. I mean, they're impulsive. That's, like...
Yeah.
It's like, that's, like, it's showing how young they are. That's, like, the whole point of it, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Still, though, it feels just a little messily done. Like, I'm like, this could be wrapped up a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay. So, that
was a lot.
Yeah, that is 40 minutes worth of ranting about The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is the wrap-up of The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is The Cousins Out.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, Chapter 1.